If you found your way here, it's no coincidence. The universe has brought you here in this very moment because there's something that needs to be heard and felt. Maybe it was God, maybe your guardian angels, but the truth is, there's a purpose in this encounter. Can you feel that gentle presence surrounding you? It's a sign that this message is meant for you. Take a deep breath. Allow the words to enter slowly, like the wind brushing against an open window. Before we begin, tell me, where are you watching from? Your place in the world is part of this story too. Today, there's a memory that insists on resurfacing, a presence that doesn't fade away even when time tries to silence the heart. That person hasn't left you. They've just retreated to a corner where silence speaks louder than any words. You know that feeling that something still lingers in the air, like an old melody that continues to echo even when the music has stopped. That's the bond between you and this person, an invisible thread yet strong, a tie that the universe hasn't unraveled yet. There are stories that no matter how much time passes remain open, and yours perhaps is one of those, a story written through glances, silences and gestures that no one else noticed. But the heavens have recorded. The guardian angels witnessed the moment everything began to change. Maybe it was a look that lasted just a bit longer than expected, a brief touch that ignited a quiet fire, or a conversation where laughter disguised a feeling too deep to name. And still, there were those who called it improper. Someone older, perhaps more bound by convention, saw what was blooming and called it a mistake. But how can something allowed by the universe be a mistake? You felt it, didn't you? That moment when time seemed to stand still, when all the noise vanished and only the presence of someone remained. This person didn't need to say anything. Their gaze spoke volumes. It was as if God had whispered, "This is the way." And even if the world outside didn't understand, something within the heart knew. This was no coincidence. There are loves that don't follow rules. They are born in the midst of the impossible, blossom in arid lands, and endure even when the wind is strong. You may have tried to resist, perhaps. You tried to erase it. You tried to convince yourself that you couldn't, that it was too late, that the right thing would be to move on. But the universe, silently, held the thread. This person felt it too, even without words, even from afar. Because when two souls truly connect, no distance is enough to break the bond. It seems that time wanted to test what you both share, to test whether the feeling was a passing desire or something that fate has written in the margins. And what remained, even after so many silences, is something that can't be explained. It can only be felt. You can deny the name, you can avoid the thought, but deep down you know there is something sacred in this connection, something that doesn't fit in human measurements, in others' expectations, in the limits of can or cannot. And perhaps that's why the universe brought you here today, to remind you that true love doesn't need permission to exist. It simply is. There's a scene that plays over and over in your mind, isn't there? A shared glance, a silent goodbye, a word stuck in your throat. These memories return not to hurt you, but to heal you. They are the fragments of what still lives, even if time has tried to hide it. Guardian angels say that the heart feels what the mind tries to deny. And they have been watching you try to move on, trying to be strong, trying to convince yourself that none of this matters anymore. But the truth is that it does matter. It matters because it was real. Sometimes love arrives disguised as a mistake, just to teach us what is true, and the true never gets lost. It can transform, it can become silent, but it never stops being. Today, the universe wants to remind you of something. This story still has movement. Even if it seems still, there are invisible forces working towards the reunion. You don't need to understand how, just trust. You feel a presence, don't you? As if someone is thinking of you at the very moment you think of them, as if an energy is crossing space, light and warm, resting upon your heart. This is a sign. Your guardian angels are showing you that there is something alive in the invisible, and that person feels it too. Even if they try to hide it, even if they live busy trying to forget, there are moments when your name echoes within them, and their heart, for a second, seeks yours again. Time does not erase what belongs to the soul. Time simply matures what needs to blossom at the right moment. And that moment is approaching. You are not alone in this feeling. God has been accompanying every silent prayer, every thought you held in shame, every tear that fell without explanation. None of this was in vain. Perhaps this story didn't follow the expected path, but it was the necessary path. Because love sometimes needs to drift apart to learn how to return, and what the universe separates for a time, it reunites again once the learning is complete. There is something divine happening behind the scenes of your life, an alignment of hearts, of destinies, of intentions, and you will feel, soon, very soon, that the silence will begin to unravel. But before that, the universe wants you to look within. It wants you to realize how much you have grown, how much you have learned, how much you now understand what you truly deserve. Because when this person reappears, and yes, the angels say that this will happen, you will be different, more centered, more at peace, more whole. And it is this version of you that the universe has prepared to experience the reunion. Let me ask you something. Do you believe that true love always finds its way back, even when everything seems lost? Think about this as you feel what vibrates inside your chest right now. This vibration is a response. It doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the soul. Love, when it's real, doesn't get lost in distance. It simply changes form. And what you're feeling right now is the gentle reminder of that. Remember, no true love is improper. What is sacred cannot be judged by the eyes of others. What the universe unites, time only polishes. And if today, in this moment, you feel something rekindle, a memory, a warmth, a name that appears out of nowhere, know this. It's not imagination. It's a calling. The calling of what still has purpose, of what needs to be understood, healed, perhaps rewritten. And it all begins now, when you allow your heart to listen to what fear has tried to silence, because deep down, in the space between what's right and destiny, there's a flame that has never gone out. It is the meeting point between you and this person, and it's closer than it seems. But before the reunion happens, there's something that needs to be named. The weight of silence, the chill of distance, the fear that hides behind the pauses. Silence sometimes speaks more than words. It carries regrets, confusions, doubts, wounds left unspoken, and you feel it. You feel the emptiness of conversations left unfinished, the echo of unsent messages, the space that this person left, and that seems impossible to fill. This person didn't pull away out of indifference. It was fear that spoke louder, the fear of feeling too much, of losing control, of breaking the barriers the world imposed, and fear, when left unhealed, dresses itself in silence. How many times have you tried to understand why? How many nights did you spend deciphering what happened? How something so strong could simply stop? But nothing really stopped. It just hid in the shadows. There's a part of this person that still struggles with what they feel. And there's a part of you that struggles not to wait. But the heart doesn't negotiate with logic. It simply feels. This distance isn't punishment, it's a pause for both to recognize each other, so that love doesn't get lost in immaturities, haste, and fears. God hasn't forgotten about you. He's just preparing the right time. But the silence hurts, doesn't it? It hurts because it feels like rejection. It hurts because absence creates ghosts. And in the darkness of longing, the mind concocts stories that the heart suffers believing. Have you ever felt that someone distanced themselves out of fear, not because of a lack of love? This is the point where the universe asks for faith, because not everything that seems like distance is an ending. Sometimes it's protection. This person needs to find themselves again before they can find you. They need to heal wounds that have nothing to do with you, but affect everything. And your role now isn't to chase after them. It's to hold the light. Be the lighthouse that stays lit, even when the sea is turbulent. Be the silent presence that the universe uses as a guide. Because true love doesn't demand, it doesn't beg, it simply remains. Fear caused this person to build walls, but God is allowing cracks to form in those walls. And through those cracks, the memory of you enters like light. Slow, steady, constant. This light is what transforms them. It's what, in silence, brings them back. You may not see it, but the universe is moving invisible pieces. Strange coincidences, recurring dreams, songs playing at just the right moment. All of these are signs that the bond still exists. There's a phrase that the heavens ask me to share with you now. Don't chase after what's yours, just make space for when it returns. While this person faces their shadows, your role is to grow in the light. Not in pride, not in anxious waiting, but in the peace of one who trusts in divine timing. Longing isn't a weakness. It's a reminder that love has taken root, and those roots will one day bloom again. Sometimes love needs to pass through the desert before reaching the garden. And this is your desert now, learning to trust even without seeing. But there are silent promises being made. God is rearranging paths, and there's something within you that knows the reunion will not be like before. It will be more mature, more sincere, more spiritual. That's why the universe asks of you, don't view silence as punishment, but as preparation. Don't see distance as loss, but as space for miracles to form. Do you still feel that person's name vibrating in your chest? Then don't doubt it. There are prayers being answered in silence. There are your tears that have turned into seeds, and time, patient, is nurturing all of this. The love that seemed inappropriate will be understood as sacred. What was doubt will transform into certainty. What was fear will become courage. And when the reunion arrives, and it will, you will understand why the universe needed this interval. Nothing was in vain. No silence was empty. Every pause was part of the plan. Now let your heart rest in this faith. Don't try to rush God's clock. He knows the exact moment when love should return. And in that moment, everything that seemed impossible will become simple. Everything that felt inappropriate will reveal itself as right. Everything that was separated will find its way back. Because when the universe writes, not even time can erase it. Silence begins to move. Do you feel it? There's something different in the air. As if the universe is breathing along with your heart. God is rearranging paths, adjusting times, healing what seemed lost. That person, the one destiny made you feel, thinks of you more than they admit. They think during quiet hours when the mind distracts and the heart insists. They think when they hear a song, see a color, or pass by a place that holds the echo of a moment lived. Guardian angels show signs, coincidences, dreams, memories returning from nowhere. None of this is by chance. These are silent answers to what you've been feeling. The universe is preparing something, and it's not small. There are regrets being dissolved, courage awakening, fears transforming into sweet nostalgia. And in the center of all this, there is a thread of light connecting you and that person. This connection hasn't broken. It has merely withdrawn to mature. God watches and smiles. He knows that true love doesn't die. It simply learns to speak calmly. The time for reuniting is drawing near. You will notice it in the details, in the gaze of someone who crosses your path again, in an unexpected message, in a feeling of, now it's right. The silence is about to say everything that couldn't fit into words before. Do you believe that silence speaks too? It speaks with the heart, with the soul, with the certainty that love, when it's real, doesn't need noise to exist. That person feels the same. Even if they try to deny it, there's a thought that insists on returning to the same place. You. God doesn't create random encounters. Every link has a purpose, and yours is to remind the world that love doesn't fit into human rules. It obeys divine timing. The boundaries that once seemed solid are dissolving. What once seemed impossible is now starting to take shape. Breathe. Trust. The universe is taking care of what the heart still desires and preparing the reunion for the moment when both of you are ready to love without fear. No distance can erase what is true. No shadow can dim the light of love when it comes from the soul. Everything that is destined finds its way back, always. Even when time seems slow, even when the heart grows weary of waiting. Today, the universe asks you for just one thing: silent faith. The faith that doesn't require proof, it just feels. This story isn't over. It has merely transformed into learning, into preparation, into promise. Love was not a mistake, it was a mirror. It was a lesson disguised as feeling. You were the memory that person needed to hold on to in order to understand what it means to truly feel. And one day, when God's timing touches human time, that love will find a new shape, lighter, more mature, purer. What was once called improper will be understood as sacred, because the love that arises from two prepared souls is a living prayer. Perhaps the reunion will come by chance, a glance, a message, a silence that breaks. But when it comes, you will know. The heart recognizes before the mind understands. So, surrender. Do not fight against time. Let the universe organize. God is not late. He waits for the moment when you can receive without fear. And when it happens, you will look back and understand. Nothing was lost. Everything was preparation. Love is never lost. It just changes places until destiny calls it back. If this message has reached you, it was not by chance. The universe brought you here because your heart needed to remember that there is still hope. Perhaps you have gone through silences that were too long, but even silence has a voice, and today it whispers, everything will align. God is listening to you. Your guardian angels are near, and each of your breaths is a prayer that the universe understands. Now tell me, which word from this message resonated with you the most? Was it hope, destiny, silence? Write it in the comments. Each word is a thread of light connecting hearts that feel the same. If this message touched you, give it a like, not out of vanity, but as a gesture of gratitude to the universe. It's like saying, I receive this energy and trust in God's timing. Share it with someone who needs a sign. Sometimes a simple video arrives as an answer to a prayer. And if you wish to continue receiving messages like this, full of faith, lightness, and poetry, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Each new message will be a reminder you are never alone. True love always finds its way back. Now, close your eyes, breathe, feel the presence of your angels. They are smiling. They know what is coming. Write in the comments the phrase, I trust in God's timing. May this phrase transform into a prayer and blessing for all who read it. Until the next message, with the light of the angels and the invisible embrace of the universe,